Hello folks, welcome to Outdoors with Bud. I'm your host, Bud Fields. Okay, this segment, I've had a lot of people ask me if I could do something to cover it. It's something that's not really all that new, but it's really revolutionizing deer hunting and deer hunting success. Everybody knows you cannot spend 24 hours a day of your time in the woods checking on deer population and deer activity. Well, a few years back, they come out with what they was referring to as surveillance cameras, and then they found out that they could use them as game management tools, and you can buy trail cameras now, and buddy, they're a lot of fun. Now, I always said I was old school, I would never be interested in using a trail camera. Well, we got permission to hunt a property just a week before deer season, and we didn't have a lot of time on our hands to do a lot of scouting. Well, my wife felt sorry for me, and she went out and bought me a trail camera, and then I thought, that's all I need. I got to get one of my grandkids to come over and show me how to use it. Well, the first ones was rather complicated. They wasn't all that good, and about a 2 megapixel camera was top of the line. Well, now you can't hardly find anything for 2 megapixel cameras, but I got an association going with Browning trail cameras, and I bought a couple of theirs that was used. A friend of mine that lived down the street had passed away, and his wife was selling a lot of his fish and tackle and a lot of his hunting stuff, and I saw those trail cameras and I thought, well, I was going to buy them. And boy, I tell you, it can be addictive. But they've got trail cameras now that sends pictures right directly to your cell phone, and they're referred to as cellular cameras. Now, I have not graduated into the cellular cameras just yet. I'm still using the ones that are non-cellular, and they use SD cards. Just to let you know how addictive it is, and I hope my wife don't watch this segment, I've gone from like 1 or 2 cameras to like 29 now, and I still want more, but I've got several different places. Now, I'm going to give you some tips today on how to put your trail cameras up, give you a few little tips on how to use them and everything. Well, right out in front of me, as a matter of fact, where my cameraman is standing, we've got a terrific deer trail that comes down through here. Now, I could put this camera out here on this tree, but there's also a lot of foot traffic through here. And a lot of times people, if they see a trail camera, a lot of people will just walk by it and not bother it. But there are other people that will steal them, and trail cameras can get rather expensive. So I kind of like to move off the trail maybe 10 yards. Okay, now I found this tree right here. It's in the shade. Now, if you get a trail camera, they recommend that you do not face the camera like east and west due to the sun position. If the sun is like directly in front of the camera, you're going to get the bleach out, blur out picture. And the same way if it's facing west. So you try to find a place back in the shade, and they recommend, you know, facing it north and south, but sometimes you cannot actually do that. But trail cameras can be a lot of fun, and it can give you a lot of information. Now, what I do, I've got 3 properties, and I've got like 6 or 7 trail cameras on each property, and I try to get up there maybe once a month and check them, because if I don't, it's not unusual for me to get over 1,000 pictures on an SD card. And then I spend the rest of my week downloading the pictures. But what I normally do, I leave my camera on the tree, and I've got extra SD cards. When I go, I just go in, I shut the camera off, I take the SD card out, I put in a fresh SD card, I reprogram the camera, I make sure that it's all set up as far as the information on the bottom of a lot of these pictures. I will get a digital readout. It'll give me the date the picture was taken, the time of the day that was taken, and it will give me the air temperature, like say 38 or 39 degrees Fahrenheit, and it will also give me a designation of what the moon phase was, whether the full moon, a half moon, or a quarter crescent moon. It gives me all that information. And then after a while, after you download a bunch of these pictures, you can begin to start patterning the deer. Especially if you got the deer on a trail that you got pictures of the deer going both ways. Now, they want to know, like, how high in a tree should you place it? Now, I know a lot of guys that likes to shinny up a tree 5 or 6 foot and then angle the camera down to get the picture of the deer where they can see the antlers. I usually like to put mine up about waist high. That way if a deer comes by, I can get the size of the body. I can normally see the antlers. I get coyotes. I even had a coyote on a trail camera picture that had a fawn in its mouth and walking right by my camera. And I've used that picture in several of my articles and things. But trail cameras are so much fun, and I'm going to give you a couple little pointers here. I've got my Browning trail camera set right here, and all I got to do is open that up, then I got an on and off switch, and you see that lights up. This gives me all kind of options. I put an SD card in the bottom of it, and then here's the mode. Okay, it tells me I can set the date and the time. All right, 9/26 and 2024 at 5:06 p.m. and that's pretty close. So I enter that. Okay, now to ask me if I want to use on the temperature Celsius or Fahrenheit, I always set it to Fahrenheit. And you can adjust the setting on this of how often your camera will take a picture. I mean, I've had pictures of one deer, I mean maybe 70 pictures. Maybe it found something out on the trail that it liked to eat on or smell, and that deer is right there. So I usually put mine on like 15 seconds. That gives the deer, it'll take the shot, the deer can walk out of the picture, 15 seconds later it's ready to go. But you can adjust that from like 5 seconds up to like 2 minutes apart. You can also set this for 1080p video with sound. And once you get it where you want it, you just push it over to on. Excuse me. You close it up. Now once you close this up, you've got 30 seconds to get out of the way. I've had pictures of me walking away from the camera because I'm getting older and I don't walk as fast as I used to. But trail cameras can give you a lot of great information, and if you want to go the cellular route, that's great, especially if you've got places. I can go from my house to most of my hunting properties in, let's say, 1 hour maximum. And a lot of times while I'm driving there, I'm anticipating what am I going to get on my cameras. Like I say, it's not unusual to get over 1,000 pictures on these little things. And people ask me, do trail cameras spook deer? I've written some articles. I've got pictures of deer, all you can see is their nose. They've got their nose right up against where the shutter is. All you can see is their nose, or maybe a whisker, or you'll see a great big eyeball where he's looking at it. The earlier cameras had the white flesh, just like the old flesh bulbs on the cameras, and I've had some of those deer when I was using the white flesh. I have had those animals spook and run away. Now some of the newer ones, you can get like a red flash, which is not near of obtrusive and scare the deer, or they've got like a black flash and you cannot see that at all. I've had deer walk up there and just like that commercial, Mr. DeMille, I'm ready for my close-ups, and I mean they're right on that camera. Now sometimes they can. Now what I usually do when I'm setting trail cameras out, I will be wearing like rubber surgeon gloves. And I will take one of my articles and podcasts here recently, I talked about a scent neutralizer. I will have like a napkin soaked, and I will wipe everything down. And I wear waterproof, scent-proof boots. Matter of fact, I've got them on right now because I don't want the deer coming by to get any scent of the human, because if they get that, they're going to alter their route. But does trail cameras work? I think they're one of the greatest things that help for hunting success, because you cannot be there 24 hours a day. And there's been days that I thought about going up and maybe I couldn't because of other commitments, but I'd go back up a couple of days later. I'd go in there and they say, well, if you got so many cameras, how can you tell them apart? I've got each one of my cameras marked, and I've got all my SD cards marked, because I was told that, like this, for instance, this is number 7, and this got the number 7 SD card in it. If I was to use like a card out of number 3, I could corrupt the files. Now, I'm not too smart about that, but I'm taking them at their word. I always make sure that when I'm done, I delete all the pictures on there, I reformat those SD cards, and when I put them in there, there's nothing to be messed up. But yeah, I recommend trail cameras. I think they're a lot of fun. They can be addictive. But I can honestly say that it's putting me on a lot of deer that I would have probably overlooked. So once again, folks, I want to thank you for tuning in. And one more pointer. Right out in front of this, I don't know how well you're going to see it. I don't know if this is showing up. I'm trying to move it so you can see it. These cameras work on motion. Not only will it pick up like a deer, if any of the leaves on the ground blow, it's going to take a picture of that. And I've had, I don't know how many pictures, and I blew it up to see what is that thing showing me. I couldn't see a deer, I couldn't see a squirrel, I couldn't see a chipmunk, nothing. Well, once I got it up there, I could see it was this thing right here. So when you put your trail camera up, you get it all set up and ready, just reach over there and watch me grab a sticker. But just bend that over. Just make sure there's nothing sticking up there within that PIR sensor to where it's going to be blowing, or you're going to get a bunch of pictures of nothing. But you will get pictures of squirrels, like maybe in trees 20 or 30 yards away from you, because some of these cameras are effective at 100, 110, 120 feet. So, hey, thanks a lot for tuning in. I want to wish you good luck during the hunting season. It's going to be a lot of fun out there. Stay tuned for more segments from Outdoors with Bud. God bless you. See you again.